Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavalla.
Yes.
I think we're all here. Okay. Number 3, let's all share a moment of silence. It's a troubled world, and it's a beautiful time of the year, and it deserves a little contemplation. Thank you very much. Number 4, we have a request for a hearing of public delegation. The individual's not here. Can I just go ahead and read this?
You can, but it'd be better if he explained it. I'm not quite sure exactly what he wants from this.
I can, and, well, my understanding, we can't act on it tonight anyway.
That's correct.
That's, okay, all right, no, so that's from Zach Gibson, and school employee. I would like weekend access, a key to the gym. I am active and live to work out. I have a 9-year-old that needs a place to practice as well. Like you say, he's not here to explain.
He wants a key to,
The gymnasium.
The main gym, yeah, or to work out and practice basketball. So, well, according to this here, we can't, number 4 on our policy, no action will be taken by the board on any item addressed which is not on the agenda for the current meeting unless the issue is before them legally as appropriate new business. Could we approach this as new business later?
No.
Okay, so it'll have to be voted on at the next meeting as an agenda item.
No.
No, he has to
No.
come.
Oh, he has to come.
No, there's no vote for this. He can discuss it, and if someone wants me to put it on the agenda, I will.
Okay,
And then we can discuss it then.
okay, all right, okay. As we really are not supposed to even discuss it tonight.
Did he talk to you at all about it?
No, sir.
Okay, I mean, I can
There's
understand. this.
several questions that are
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'd be willing to consider it on the agenda at the next meeting.
Understood.
Okay, number 5, superintendent's report and board discussion.
All right, there's a lot of things going on, and it's the end of the semester, so I'm just gonna get right into it. First thing we need to talk about is the gymnasium. I started a project where we were looking at trying to put an air unit into that gymnasium. And the reason why I was taking a look at it, bless their hearts, the poor kids, over the summer, that place is sweltering hot. And we needed some way to sort of cool it down if we're gonna try to use it for our students, if they're gonna have open gyms over the summer. If they're gonna set up camps, there's no way to cool that thing down. And it is very difficult, even right now with the units that we have in there, to heat the thing. It takes a long time for the heating units to work. We're constantly having to repair those heating units that are in there. We just repaired them this week. Again, the thermostat went out. I'm frightfully worried about how those things are put together. When I take a close look at how those heaters are put together, and some of that wiring is kind of iffy. So really, we needed to take a look at it. So we talked to a construction company about it, and we set up a project where we had about $180,000. And in my mind, what we were looking at was about $160,000 for an air unit, and about $20,000 for contingency. Once the construction people got a hold of it, they said that we needed to talk to the state fire marshal. State fire marshal has pretty much derailed the whole project. So I'm gonna walk you through exactly how this sort of thing works. The state fire marshal has stated that unless we have less than 300 seats, which we do not, they measure the seats at 18-inch increments. Well, guys, I'm just gonna tell you, I cannot sit in 18 inches. It's about like this. There's no way that I can sit in there. But they measure every 18 inches as a seat. If it's greater than 300 seats, it has to be 299 for us not to have a sprinkler system put in. If it's over 300 or greater, you have to put in a sprinkler according to the state fire marshal. The sprinkler system for a gym that size is gonna cost us in the neighborhood of $54,000 to $60,000, in addition to the air unit. But before you can put in a sprinkler system, you have to have an architectural drawing, and so an architect will have to draw it up at a cost of $20,000. Since there's no place that really has a sprinkler system in town, we would probably have to have there'd be a water pressure issue. And so we'd have to have a fire pump for the sprinkler system at additional cost. The drawing, the sprinkler, the pump would put that project way past our budget of $180,000. It's gonna look like something closer to $274,000 in order to get an air unit put in there. So it pretty much has derailed us. We talked to the fire marshal. He would not grandfather us. In order for him to even consider it, he would have to have the architectural drawing.
So how many seats do we have?
It's around 400.
So if we remove 100 seats, we're good.
Well, here's the thing. We
Add them later.
We are looking at a seat project where we are taking out some seats for the handicap section.
Mhm.
Right.
And there is some termite damage on the far visitor section up against the
Mhm.
north wall there.
Yeah, the exterior wall.
And so we were looking at maybe taking out a small section there, but I don't think that it would be enough to land us under 300. And so it sort of derails that project.
Where'd he come from, this guy? Is he out of Lawton? Where's he from?
No.
From the city is where they're
From the
located.
State.
It's the state guy.
Yeah.
It's the state guy. And so that's sort of where we're sitting right now. It's really a shame that because we could really use that, our students could use it. We use that for all types of events, for graduation, for assemblies, we had assembly in there the other day.
Yeah.
And to add that much cost to it is just unreasonable. The only thing that we're putting in there that's new, because the unit would actually sit outside in that
Yeah.
courtyard, is air.
Yeah.
We're putting air into the building, and we're gonna have to get a sprinkler system for it. That is outside of our price range. So right now, that's where we're
What
standing on
about
that.
stadium seating, 299, and just set them on top of what we got? And if we leave 18 inches in between, that's not seating, that's just blank space.
I don't
Somebody
think
could
you-
sit there.
I will tell you that I saw somebody do that.
I don't think you have enough room even on the home side to put a chair there where somebody could walk safely between the chair and the edge of the seat.
But I did see someone
Stadium
have
seat.
those seats.
Stadium seat.
Oh,
I did have someone, they bolted their seats into their wooden, seating areas, and they had them about 24 inches apart.
Mhm.
And it looks to me like they worked a system out so that they could do that. But that's also additional cost.
Yeah. I don't know what stadium seating might
Might be.
negate it also.
I need that, John, what do you call them stadium seats?
Just to kind of sit on top, like you
Yeah.
said, so
They
you
just
got.
like
Oh, it's
fold
fold
over.
up
in
just a
between
chair.
kind of, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
So
what-
the person behind you, because of the way our bleachers are, so you have enough room, but you still have the seat. And then the seat could even hang over an inch or two to give more foot room behind.
These were
It's just-
plastic. They were plastic, just big enough for one person to sit in, and you could see the
Yeah.
Yeah.
footprint
But
of
there
it.
was designated seating, and you had.
But because, okay,
199.
what I'm trying to make is because of the length of those in there, you would have to have, I would think,
Aisle.
an aisle for just people to get up and down in. That's gonna take up some space and
They
you're
already
gonna have
have.
less seats.
Well, we want 200.
We want less seats.
I know, but you do that through that whole thing.
And-
If you're
and, you know,
putting
and
walk
that puts
space
you
of
where you
18
can't-
inches, and you
can't-
put 18-inch seat, there's 3 feet right there for one seat, instead of 18 inches for one seat.
I think the 18 inches is a little unreasonable. 24 is probably closer to what it actually would be unless you have someone sitting like right on top of you. You're not gonna have an 18 inch.
How old is that statute, do you know?
Well,
Because people were a
the-
lot
the
little 100
requirement-
years ago.
The requirement to put in the sprinkler system, I believe, came in play of March of last year. So we missed it just
Of
by a
course we
few
did.
months.
But
That's what I'm given to understand.
if, you know, how many, okay, first question is, on a night, like last night, do you have any idea how many tickets we sold?
Uh,
How many people
They,
we had?
they actually do have a count. I do not know what the count was.
It was
'cause I
down
didn't
last
count it.
night, there wasn't that many here.
But even on our larger nights, it's not wall to wall.
Yeah, you know, so if, you know, it might inconvenience some people to take it down to 299 seats, but that's the only way I can see we could do it.
That's kind of the investment I'm looking at, is, you know, try to get this in down to
Is
$299.
it-
Yeah.
And
Does
put
permanent-
seats in with space and in aisle space, so you can take up that whole area and get as
Yeah,
many
yeah,
seats
yeah.
in as you can.
Does it matter if it's temporary seating versus permanent seating? Because when we do have the graduations, you know, we bring seats in. So that would obviously push us way over the 300, but does it,
But that's
Specific to
temporary. The
permanent,
floor seating that we
doesn't
bring
matter.
in, doesn't count,
doesn't,
I don't believe, but
He, when I talked to the architect, he was counting even the space that we have. If, for every amount of space that you use, you have to count it, you literally have to count it for one person. So if you, as long as it's not over 300 square feet. So for every 300 square feet that you have storage, counts as one seat. It's the craziest thing in the world. I just-
300 square feet is one seat?
That's what he said.
That's
300,
crazy.
300.
300 square feet is one seat, so
One seat.
your floor is,
That don't even make sense. I mean, it's not to me, everybody else got it, 300 square feet.
Is one seat. Yes, so if we have storage like the locker areas that are in there,
Mhm.
or that area that we're storing that electronic basketball machine that we have, that counts as a seat.
sometimes you learn stuff you really wish you didn't learn.
You realize how big 300 square feet is?
It's not much. 3 by 10. No, that's 30, no.
It's more
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
30
more
by
like
10.
30 by,
30 by 10, that's not very much.
but that's one seat.
That's it, right,
That's for
30 feet by
storage.
10 feet.
yeah, 30 by 10.
That just doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah.
to come up with that kind of a thing. You talk about one person sitting,
Well,
Yeah.
architects, you know, they are required to follow the state statutes for what they're doing.
Was he-
And
all right, would that be 30 cubic feet, 300 cubic feet?
he said
Because then it
square-
would
he
go
said
from
square
that
feet.
one
Yeah,
person all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So how's a cubic, what?
Is it square or is it cubic feet?
well, I think
He
the
said
thing
square.
is we're probably
Square
not
feet.
ever gonna get around it.
No,
We're gonna have to
the
be.
square footage in there for the sprinkler system is gonna be cost prohibitive
Mhm.
alone. That alone will kill us, and not counting the pumps
Mhm.
Yeah.
for it will kill us.
Yeah.
There's no way that we can afford it.
So even if we get down to 299, well, if we get to 299, we don't have to have all that stuff.
still have to have.
You still have to have the pump. You're still gonna have to have you're
You
still
don't
gonna
have to have
have
sprinkler system?
What?
well, no, you wouldn't have to have the sprinkler system, but
And
you're
then
still
you-
gonna have
therefore
to
you
have
don't
the
need the pump.
engineer.
Huh?
You're still gonna have to-
20,000 for an architect,
Yeah, that's 20 grand for the architect.
which is a lot better than 60
Yeah,
you know,
then it's 90.
sprinkler.
Yeah.
Something to think on, I guess, huh?
I'll continue to look at it. There's one more company I'll talk to. And we'll see if we can, I'll see if I can think through anything that we can do legally that would
Yeah.
enable us to save the
Can we not
project.
have a bond issue for that?
I think we're bond indebted though.
Are we?
Yeah.
Total?
I wouldn't, honestly, I don't know about doing bonds right now with
Yeah.
that, with the
The
new.
interest rate.
No, it's not the interest rates, it's the new windmill.
Yeah.
That is crushing people right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh,
They were supposed to pay, they were supposed to pay a certain amount for taxes, and the state Supreme Court said that they didn't have to.
Yeah.
But it's for people that are,
Cause this one doesn't end till 28 that we have.
they can't pay off their current bonds because of it. I don't know if that would be a good idea.
Am I the only one's not understanding this? I mean, I'm thick sometimes.
There's a
No,
bunch of
I-
windmill companies that are,
No, I'm not, I'm back, I'm still on the other side.
On the air?
Yeah,
But we just can't afford it.
well, I understand that, but if we go to 299, we don't have to have the sprinkler system,
that's correct.
all right?
That's
So
correct.
therefore, we don't need the pump.
That's correct.
So therefore, we don't need the architect.
That's
No,
probably-
you still gotta have the architect.
No,
For what?
No, you don't have to have the
You
architect.
may not
Yeah,
need the
for what?
architect for that.
Oh, for
We
the
just-
299, cause
Yeah,
we're
we
under
just,
the.
if we can get it down to 299, we can put the project in there. Providing that the cost of these air units hasn't gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I priced it,
And the price of taking out the
Yeah.
extra seats.
yeah. Well, that,
Yeah.
we can take a look at.
Because for me, I'd much rather reduce that seating in there than have to not have anything.
Yeah.
Because that thing is not jammed full hardly ever. And, you know, if you want a seat, get her.
So 299 tickets, that's it.
I just,
I've done this
it's
creative
cost,
stuff.
like you said,
I'm
it's,
not gonna
it's
pursue
not,
it.
it's counterproductive,
Are we gonna-
cost-wise, to do this, except get down to 299.
Yeah.
But are we
And then we
gonna,
don't have to do all it.
are we gonna tell people, I'm sorry, but you can't see your grandchild graduate because we already have
No, that's not,
300?
that's not what we're talking about.
But I'm just saying, well, if you reduce it down,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
then you cannot let anybody in that doesn't have a seat, correct? They have to have a seat?
No, we're not talking about floor space for graduation, are we? We're talking about seating for sporting events, basketball.
Okay, or,
It's for anything, isn't it?
It's pretty much for anything, and I
No,
understand your
93.
point very
Right.
clearly, and I'm sorry, I'm processing, but I think that you may be correct on that. State Farm Marshal would probably tell us that we could not have more than 299 in that facility. So if you have graduation in there, like you're saying, and there's
we've hit
500
their,
people,
because we've hit their radar, and at the point,
that's the other thing too. If
you've
we,
hit their radar.
Have we had that many people? I've been to a couple graduations. Did we have that many in there? Graduation?
I don't know.
2013.
Because they're not all in there at the same time.
You were in the hospital, you weren't here, but it was full.
2013 was full. I got to see it.
How many kids were there in 2013?
20.
It was packed.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, actually, it was more than 20.
Yeah,
It
there
was
was
about 25.
24, I think. is
Some
what-
schools do give each kid five tickets
Yep.
for graduation.
Some of them do 2 tickets.
I was gonna say Lawton does it, and it's either 2 or 4 tickets per
Yeah,
student.
and I mean, and that's just, that's how that's done. And you have to pick those people who are absolutely the most important to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the students.
That's up to the student, they get the tickets.
This is,
Yeah.
we're
Now, they
not,
can
we're not
film it,
voting on
they
anything
can-
tonight,
they
right?
can
This
take
is
their
just
photos,
you letting us
video.
know.
information, yes.
I
And
think
if
that
you
we
want a student
probably
wants
need
to
to get
give-
some more information on it.
The other alternative is to go to Cashness and we can use their building.
For the graduation.
Graduations, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
We
you
got,
know,
I mean, I want to see that stuff get in there.
yeah.
I mean, we've survived this long. I just like to see it happen.
Yeah.
There's
This is
different
the
ways.
only opportunity that we would have to have this kind of money to be able to do a project
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah,
Now,
Is
the
this
other
coming
quick,
from the ESSER money?
the ESSER money, yeah.
is there, you have to spend that by a certain time.
Yep.
Or obligated.
Yes, no, it has
No,
to
it
be
has to
spent too.
Yeah.
Spend and the supplies on the
It,
ground.
it has to be obligated by September, this particular one by September
Mhm.
of 2024, and everything has to be in district by December, according to what I understand,
2024.
of 2024.
Okay. So we've got
Now, it's obligated in September of 2024.
And
obligated.
It has to be
but
obligated,
finished.
and everything has to be here, like, there can't be a supply chain glitch and you can get it in February.
Yeah.
Has to be in district.
Has to be finished in 2 years from now. Complete,
Yeah.
basically.
We can kick it around some more, but I think
Yeah, can you,
if we're gonna be conciliatory with what Michelle has to say.
yeah,
so-
she's, I mean, yeah,
Well, she's
she's
got a good
right,
point,
you're
and that's-
right.
and that's
I
good.
think you just need to check it out. I
People are
mean,
people, you know.
But we,
and,
But the limit, you know, you're gonna know how many you're gonna have for graduation most of the time. 2 tickets, 3 tickets per family. You know, some family may not have anybody, so 3 more can, you know, but we stay
they
under
would
the
probably-
$2.99.
In the next month, measure it off.
We've already measured it.
Oh,
yeah.
you've already measured it.
Yeah, twice.
Okay, and how many can we seat? Based on what their guidelines are, what is our seating capacity as it stands right now?
It was just over 400. And so, you know, I was looking at, is there any wiggle room? And how hard-lined is that 18 inches? Because like I said, I don't think I can sit in an 18-inch seat. I don't think anybody can. I think that you're minimum gonna need something like 24 inches. But according to what the architect was saying, it's 18 inches. And we did measure it. I still have all of the measurements, and if you guys want me to get that to you, I will. Of course, Ms. Roberts helped me measure all of it, and we went over it with a fine-tooth comb. I went over the measurements several times. And we'll have to take at least 100 seats out.
And that'd be about
And a
it's
quarter.
gonna be about
It's a quarter of
150 feet total of bleachers. And there's like on the visitor side, how many rows? 3? Or 4?
I believe
4?
There's 4.
So 150 divided by 4 is, get me God, 40 feet,
30-something.
40 feet, close to 40 feet. Might take it out in the middle, on either side of the score table and put in handicapped or something. Because handicap takes a lot more room than regular seats.
Our plan was to take out a pretty large section for the handicap. And then we were gonna put a rail up right behind there because we don't want anybody falling off on this side.
Yeah.
You have to put the rails up. And then it depends on the termite damage. We looked at it, I looked at it a couple of times, I even crawled up underneath those bleachers. If you believe me, sliding up underneath those tiny thing. And there's legitimate termite damage in there that we're gonna have to get fixed. I think that we can fix it ourselves. It's not that much. A 2x4 needs to be replaced, but on that far side, right up against that north wall, on the visitor side, there is termite damage. We could take part of that section out.
Does it look like the termites were killed previously, or are they presently in there?
Great question. It does not look like there are termites currently in there, but they tend to swarm in the spring. And we have put a considerable amount of money into trying to alleviate that problem because we do have massive termite damage here in the building.
Yeah.
We have baits all the way around this campus. I mean, completely around it, about every 30 feet we have a bait out.
Everybody ought to do
And hopefully that'll eradicate the problem.
that. Okay.
We'll look at it. I'll bring you some more information during the next board meeting, and maybe we can come up with some solutions for it. I'll give you the exact number of seats that we have at 18 inches, and we'll take a look. I did see someone with those plastic seats in there, and they bolted them to their wooden, and they were 24 inches apart at least. Might be something to consider. And if it
Maybe
brings
we
it
could
down
do
to 3,
every other row, and that'd leave a walking distance every third row. I mean, if you're doing it and you leave it room enough to step between, or somebody can set their coat because it's a little plastic seat, you got, you know, I don't know the specifics, but like I say, you might do it every third row. Have an aisle, leave that row empty where people could walk through, and then people can step in the second row.
we can look at it. I'll continue to look.
Well, yeah.
Do you have a maintenance guy here that can do a lot of, like you said, somebody put it to before in,
We have someone that we bring in for small projects.
or? Okay.
It's an outside person that we bring in just for really small things.
Okay, JB mentioned to me last night at the ballgame that the molding around the bottom of the floor, on the gym floor,
Mhm.
is coming out, it kicks out all the time.
Yes.
He said he didn't know if they use liquid nails on it or not, but, so if you have somebody gonna get in there and fix that board, we have them do that too,
We'll have someone take a look at it.
yeah.
Before the molding gets
It's the
broken.
base molding, huh?
Before the molding gets broken.
Well, he pulled out a section, about a 4-foot section of it, and it's not just this flat base molding like this. It's fairly thick.
It's big
Yeah.
plastic molding.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, that needs to be anchored.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the next thing on the on my list to talk about is actually a contingency, in case we can't do this project.
Okay.
And it's a transportation update. So there's a couple of things to this. The first thing is that we have 2 large buses that are out there. And we currently are struggling, just like every other district in the state and probably nationwide, to find CDL bus drivers. It is impossible to find them. Currently, our person that would drive those large buses is not able to drive the buses for us, and so we've been having to pick up students in the morning and the afternoon with a small bus. I've had to drive those routes, both morning and night, on some occasions, because we simply don't have anybody else to do it. If we can't find people with CDLs, then having those 2 buses and leasing them out is probably counterproductive and very expensive. And so at each payment cycle, it's costing us $16,000 for those 2 buses. We don't need 2 of them for sure.
And we're not even using them right now.
We're not even using them right now.
So we're paying for what we're, yeah.
I'm gonna bring something to you. This is just a talking point at today's discussion. To maybe go down to a single bus, and lose that $8,000 payment. That's very, very expensive. And if we cannot finish this project, then maybe using some of that money for a second small bus. If we have the small buses, you don't need a CDL for them. You still have to be trained up, you still need to sit down and go over the procedures for the bus and all of that, but you don't need a CDL for it. If we did that, then we would have much greater flexibility in scheduling some of our events that we're doing. Right now, we have 1 bus, the small bus, and no CDL driver except our 1 coach who's just doing the athletics for the basketball. But if we have something like esports or someone else that has to go somewhere, we don't have anybody to drive them.
What's the passenger limit on the big buses? 50, 40?
It's
No.
not a super large bus.
35.
It's not 74.
The big bus?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 72.
Are they 72? Yeah.
They seat 72.
Yeah.
So if you get too small, the
The
small
little
is
bus is 14.
14, so you.
14.
What, can you lease the small buses?
No.
You can't lease them,
No.
I did put in your packet the cost. So the last time we bought the bus, it was in the neighborhood of $65,000. And
For the 14.
I'm sorry.
14 seater?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The
And
one that's
14.
out there.
Yeah.
And it has gone up considerably. Now it's 82. And if we continue to wait, it's probably going to be 100. So in
So we
case
would still have 3 buses, just 2 small ones and a big one versus 2 big ones
Yeah,
and a
we'd
small
have 2
one.
small and 1 big.
That's what you're
And
looking
you
at.
need the big one when the,
Right,
teams go, activity bus.
right, gotcha.
The little one's good for the academic and
I'm
some
definitely
of
for
the other
that.
things.
and taking students home, we can break up the routes. Right
Yeah.
now, we have to take 2 different trips in order to take everyone home, both in the morning and in the afternoon because our CDL driver can't
Gotcha.
go.
Okay, the cost effectiveness on that, if it, I think you bet was 1,300 something, 1,376 for payments. Was that on that?
Oh, well,
it's
it's
on the
changed, that's
bus?
changed.
Okay, okay.
No, on the
No, I-
truck.
Okay.
Okay, no, the bus is not, they don't lease them.
Only the large buses. We have a lease on the 2 large buses that we have.
Yeah, I
They're
understand,
always
but
small.
we're gonna get rid of 1. That's $8,000 for a school year.
Yes, sir.
Plus fuel and insurance lower
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so that $8,000, is that will that cover the cost of buying the 14 passenger
No.
over a year's time? No, I'm talking about payment wise within a year.
No, we would probably pay for that out of the ESSER funds.
Oh, okay. So
The
we're not
best-
gonna do
The
payments.
best bet for us would be to, if we can't do this project with the air unit,
All right.
to reconfigure those funds into transportation, get a second bus, and
Okay.
use those funds, and we'd have money left over. And that's a contingency in case we can't get the air unit, which, it looks like it's getting pretty dicey at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, any questions about those? Okay, cafeteria update. We did a walkthrough through the cafeteria, and without question, our cafeteria definitely needs to be upgraded. We had to put in a new sink. The sink was just simply falling apart. We had a stove that was put in 1955. It was a 10-burner stove, and only 2 burners were left working.
Money's worth.
Yeah, we've definitely got our money's worth. But it needs to be replaced. It's not a good unit. You know, we're trying to serve meals to well over 100 students, and we need everything operational. And so we did go ahead and order a new stove. I'm just gonna tell you. The stove was in the neighborhood of $8,000. The initial cost was 10, but the guy said, no, it should be lower, and he lowered it for us very graciously. So we have a new stove on the way, 10,000. But there's some more things that need to be done, and so this is just a discussion point. For mica counters that are inside of there need to be replaced. Those things are beginning to peel back. They've been in there for so long. There's a table right in the center of the kitchen area that's gonna need to be replaced. We're looking at stainless steel tables for those. There's a mixer and a water heater that needs to be replaced. Ms. Lafferty is working on a grant to try to replace those. So, you know, we are looking at what we need to do to upgrade our facilities there. We should have some answers probably by second semester, spring semester. And hopefully we can get some of this upgrade done, at least some of it by summer. So we're taking a look at that, and then if there's anything final that we have to do, aside from all of that, and if there's any money left over from our ESSER, we're gonna look at retiling those floors.
There's
It would be a really good situation. for
there
us.
hasn't been a good PM program, I guess, for
Maintenance, yeah.
preventive maintenance,
Yeah.
keeping up to date on these things. Because I think we're sitting here at this table, we're looking at, we gotta do everything. We gotta fix everything. We ain't got the money. So we're gonna have to, with you being here and at the helm, begin that preventive maintenance program for things that we see that are gonna need.
And we may not be able to do all of them this year.
Well, I
but
understand, but I
on
don't,
the next, it's-
yeah, it
but
just seems like it hadn't been done in a while.
That's right.
Things have deteriorated, so, because we didn't have a preventive maintenance, so
Some of it needs to be done.
Well,
that's what we need.
you bring up a great point,
Yeah.
and one of the things that we have is a great person working on our facilities, and she is relentless. I'm just gonna tell you, Mr. Wise, we need to fix this. Mr. Wise, oh, okay. But Mary Jane Roberts does an outstanding job, and a lot of the improvements that we made over the past year, since I've been here for sure, are direct results of her walking through the facilities and letting me know what needs to be done.
Yeah,
And so that absolutely needs to be done.
that might be something you would put in the teachers meeting,
Right. And
if you haven't done already.
well, we have a facilities plan.
Okay.
She's already gone through every inch of this campus, the district, and is telling me exactly what we need, and I've already outlined that to you. I gave you a copy probably in September of everything that we need to take a look at, and the cafeteria was part of it.
Yeah.
And so we'll continue to do that. And what we need to do as a district, and what I need to do for the board, is to prioritize. What do we need to work on first? What are the most important things for our district?
It would be safety issues
Safety.
probably first.
Right.
Yeah.
Safety gotta be first.
Yep.
We can look good later.
And
Not that
that's
we
what we're
don't
gonna do.
now.
But we're making some great gains,
I know we are.
and there's just more to do. And so we'll continue that. That's the cafeteria. So we're replaced the sink, we're getting a new stove, we're taking a look at the stainless steel, and we have the grants. Any questions about the cafeteria?
Was there a cooler in there also?
Great question. We were talking about the cooler earlier this year, and we had a glitch on an ordering, because we had a go on the walk-in. It's a walk-in, it's a giant walk-in freezer.
Right.
Somehow that got mixed up and it wasn't ordered. I'm not quite sure what happened. That happened, whatever happened didn't happen while I was here. And so, we're looking at what we can do, and I think that there's enough money in that cafeteria, fund to purchase it. We're just making sure that everything's gonna be, solid and good to go. Now, right now, that fund has something in the neighborhood of $75,000 in it, and we can't have that much money in there. The top amount that we can have is in the neighborhood of $30,000. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah, that's what we looked at.
Stainless steel, are you going new tables, all new tables, prep tables, or?
Stainless
flat
steel is the
or-
easiest to clean.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
It
it
doesn't chip. It's
Right.
fantastic
It's
stuff.
that-
Don't
And
rust.
it's
But
One
are you
big-
replacing the whole thing and leaving the base, or just putting a new top on?
No, it'll be a brand new table.
All
We're gonna
new.
take that whole section out. And basically it'll be two tables. There's one 7-foot section, it's about 7 by 4, and then a smaller section that's about 3 by, I don't know, 3, something like that. And we'll put them together to fill out the space that's there. Next thing, the roof project. This thing has been the bane of my existence, guys, this roof project, I'm just gonna tell you. So, I'm gonna start at the beginning because this thing is still drawing out, so,
Is Mr. Andy, or,
yes,
yeah, our friend?
absolutely. I have all of the information here. We have the contract. The contract was signed by the board on the 26th of August of 21. As of right now, the project is still not complete. So, according to the contract, he should have been finished with everything within 180 days. That puts it at February 22nd, 2022. According to my calculations, which could be off, it's something like 294 days past when he said he would complete the project. I've been trying to get in touch with him, He's been really difficult to bring up here, but he came up here last Thursday. He said all the work will be completed by the end of December and that he would finish the bus barn and cafeteria by this week. Now, I haven't seen him. And
This week,
This week, like, yes.
it's more of the same then.
I haven't seen him yet, so maybe he's,
I've got 3 days.
he has 3 days to finish that. There's also a sign. That sign, I did check with the sign company. He was a little upset with me for checking with him, but I checked with him, and he did not order it till August or end of July of this year. And he had plenty of time to order it. It's probably, the reason why it's so late is it hasn't been ordered and it's not in yet. He said that he's gonna have that in by the end of December. By the time we get back from break, it should be up and operational. I don't know if that's gonna happen
I
yet.
don't believe anything he says.
So I'm just gonna let you know, I have contacted OSIG. We're sitting down trying to figure out exactly what we need to do, and I've contacted some lawyers about
That's
it.
right.
Okay.
This is basically it from my
There's a penalty
standpoint.
phase
Did
on
he
all the
put,
days
I was
too.
fixing to say, wasn't the penalty phase like fairly substantial?
Yeah.
Yes, I have the contract here if you guys wanna take a look at it, and I did bring it. And it's $100 a day,
I was fixing to say, I thought it was,
and it's $100 a day for every day that he's late. And,
$294.
yes, looking at $29,000 that we probably should take a look at as part of the, situation.
As hard as he's been to get here and do these things, as many times as you've had to
Did
chase
he-
rabbits on him.
did he give you anything in writing that said he would be finished by the end of the month?
Yeah, it's in the contract.
No,
Oh,
by
this
the end of the
last,
month.
No.
That's what
He
I
did
said
not.
more of the same.
I have that thing right here. I'll find it
That's okay.
and I'll show it to you, but it's, all of the information's there.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't wanna make any declarations right now because we're on
No.
public.
But I'm looking into it. I am talking to the legal team about what we need to do next. Had some experience before, and what we did was I'm just gonna tell you that the lawyers recommended that we send a termination letter at one point to a company that was doing this very same thing. And once we sent the letter out, all of a sudden the work was getting crushed. I mean,
So
it
you
was-
did send one and he got,
No, we haven't sent
No,
one.
this is a different.
I have not sent one yet. I was gonna
Okay.
wait to see if he was gonna do it this week and then, talk to the lawyers and see if we could draw one up. And just
Yeah.
tell them, we're pretty much done with this.
yeah, this is enough. It's time for him
Time he finishes, it's gonna
Cut
be
bait
time to
to fish.
restart, replacing.
This is
everything.
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Okay. Next thing on my list. Return to learn plan, no changes. The amount of sickness that we're seeing is generally from the flu. Some colds, some stomach flu, but not, hardly any COVID at all. I think we're good, and there's no changes that need to be recommended, no changes recommended at all. And the semester, it's been a great, outstanding first semester, I'm just gonna tell you. For those of you that are, wanna know, I've survived it. And
In
it's,
spite of Mary Jane.
It's looking a little grayer around the edge.
It's everything you hoped for, wasn't it?
Like those
Yeah.
presidents, you see they get grayer as long
Yeah.
as they're there.
yeah.
But we're doing some fantastic things. Of course, we have our Christmas program that's gonna be on the 15th at 7 o'clock. It'll be here in the auditorium. We have our last parties that are gonna go on for the little students. I'm bringing cream for a couple of the grade levels that asked me to. Second, third grade are gonna get an ice cream party from me. We have our faculty, luncheon tomorrow. Somehow I won a smoker the other day, and I'm bringing smoked meat.
Oh,
So I'm pretty happy about that.
yeah.
Just for a point, how do we get so many smokers out there buying buses?
Great question.
There were 12 or 15 of them out there.
Booster Club.
It's
Huh?
the FFA does a fundraiser where they do smoked meats,
Mhm.
and they sell them. And they do it for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and
That's a
it's
lot.
pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how they do
I'm
it.
on
There's
board.
the smokers
Got
out
about
there
10
are
of them, so
operations.
they
Huh?
probably fill them all up. About 10
Well,
turkeys and
Oh,
five
Yeah,
hams
they
or
fill them
something.
all at once, but over the years, people have donated,
And
Yeah.
built them, they built them out
and
there.
they've donated.
They don't belong to us.
Yeah, I guess they
FFA.
probably really don't belong to the school at all. They belong to
No,
the FFA
FFA.
and those people that support
there's
the
a revenue
FFA.
source right there for storage. You know, that I'm just trying to help.
Well, buy a $45 ham. That's good deal. I enjoyed my Thanksgiving
You
ham.
can have your cooker back, but we got just a little deal here.
Any
Oh,
questions? That's the whole report. I'm sorry it took so long.
That's all right.
That's great. I appreciate the information. Okay, number 5 is finished. Number 6 is statement of consent agenda. The following matters may be approved in their entirety by the board upon motion made, seconded, and passed by a majority vote of the board members. However, upon request by any board member, any one or more of said matters will be removed from the consent agenda and acted upon separately. Is there any item that anybody would like to act on separately?
I need to say that we need to add a number on the child nutrition POs. I gave the numbers to Mr. Wise, but I left off, should be 13 to 16.
Okay, instead of 13 to 15, it'd be
Yes, if you
13 to
put that,
16.
we need that in the motion, that,
I move that we amend 7.2, child nutrition encumbrance, which presently reads 13 through 15 to read 13 through 16.
Second the motion.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes.
Motion passes. Is
I make
there-
a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there,
Okay.
is there a second?
McKinney?
Yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes.
Okay. And 7 is finished. We don't need to do 8 because we didn't remove any. Number 9, business. 9.1, consideration and vote to elect or not elect the following as new members of the Board of Directors of the Oklahoma Public School Investment Interlocal Cooperative, 55K001.
So this is the group of people that we're voting for OLAP, which is an organization that is used for school investments. We, at this point, don't have any investments. I'm hoping to have some possibly in the future. And so it really is a good idea for us to think about who we're going to vote for. I don't know any of these people personally, but this is a good organization with some, qualified people. Do you have any?
Yeah, it's a sweep account, and they take care of, several schools, and we've used them before, and so if we get to a point that we are able to invest, this is where our money would go. And they're real easy to pull, like if you need the next day, it's real easy to get to, so definitely,
Is there a cost associated with it?
no.
No.
You can do it on one vote.
Yeah.
Can you can pass this?
That's what we've been doing every year.
So we need a motion to state that we
Yep.
vote yes on all of these?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that said motion. Approve all yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes, okay. Thank you. Aye, motion carries. Number 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible board action on athletic signage.
I was asked to put this on the agenda. This is the request by community members to replace the current signs in town with the 2002 state championship signs, and Mr. Cavallo's gonna update us.
I dug up a little information here. Okay, we're looking at different signs, but we want to keep it the same size, 4x4. Turnkey operation on a metal sign with sign dynamic is $680 each. Just the lettering is $150. The lettering on the 4x4 sheet is $225, and that will be vinyl lettering. Vinyl lettering is supposedly to last 4 or 5 years. Another one, vinyl lettering, was $154, and that would be just the lettering, and we could mount it on, or they would mount it for us if we supplied the metal. I looked, the metal's about 4x8 sheet, which would make 2 signs, was $154 for the laminate aluminum type metal sign stuff. And another one was direct printed, which is a UV ink. They are $176 each. And I didn't get a turnkey on them because I said we do our own frames. They last from 5 to 8 years, so kind of double the deal. And if, well, so that's basically at 3 different companies I checked to, and you know, just going through the Google thing and everything. So there's a lot of different ways to go, but it's going to take money. And I thought, as I did with before, I might just do or somebody, if they want to take the challenge, do a GoFundMe. And the committee's been real responsive on the bench. We did, I think it was overnight, we earned, they donated $400, so we got our bench. I'm thinking, I don't know if we can creatively make the funds to do these signs out of school money, or we want to go a different route.
What's the bottom line on it?
Well, first of all, we need to decide how many signs we're gonna make. All right, and when you come in on Hosey Acres headed west, by the ball fields, you've got a big marquee up there. So that takes care of that coming into town. You want one down here, coming off the 4-lane into town. And then you might want one on the old 62 coming this way. The road going south, I'd say you don't need a sign.
Now, the one over here, does it have on there about the state champions?
Well, I've got the sign, the original sign. I picked it up the other day.
Right.
And I've got it over there. I've got a picture. Do y'all know what we're talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it looked like exactly.
Okay.
You
But
got
I
a
mean,
picture of it?
Yeah.
wasn't there just 2 to begin with?
Yes.
Yes,
Just 2?
So yeah.
Now, there are some district signs up right now, and I think they ought to stay. You know, we don't need to mess with those.
No, we're just talking about the
Putting back the state
Indiahoma
champions.
Warriors state thing.
Well, it's like John said on the bench, and Lisa's had great luck with the alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a project, and she sends out notes. Now, they have a little money already in an activity sub-account. Let me see how much they have over there.
And
Can you read that? Okay.
I didn't really throw it out, but construction materials
It's,
too, it makes a
down here.
difference too.
Yeah.
Alumni.
The
We have an
turnkey deal was
alumni-
on a 2-inch square tubing.
Alumni project.
With the, but square tubing
Down here, yeah.
goes by gauge. I think it was 11
$813.
They have $813 in the alumni projects.
And if they
And
do
you
one,
can
I
get
don't
some
know,
more.
you know,
Yeah.
but that's the option too.
That is
Great.
really,
And
they always come through. It's how we did the 300
depending on
chairs.
what we feel we can afford and do and everything like that, then we can,
Yeah, I'll build these things myself. That ain't a problem. And John and I had already gone back and forth on it. And we want to use, or I want to use 1-inch square tubing for the actual frame. Okay? Then once you get the frame built, we're gonna cut a slice inside the deal so you can slide the sign down into it.
Mhm.
Okay? Then I wanna use, and I've got some of it at the house, 1.5 inch posts.
Mhm.
That's, they're about 3/16 thick, so that's good
Yeah.
posts.
Square?
Yes.
Square tubing?
1.5 inch square tubing.
Oh, wow.
And it come off the church railing when Scott wanted to take that railing down over there by the family center. I'm a miser and I scarfed it up. So I've got that railing and I'll absolutely donate that to make these signs. If we can get somebody to, we'll get the one board and my neighbor can cut it with his brake down at the store. And we'll get 2 4x4 exact pieces. All we need to do is get somebody to do a letter. And we can, we can put these things in.
You can,
The
Go ahead.
one that's the UV ink, I think that's definitely the way to go. And how much did you say that was?
It's about the same as the other one.
176.
So 176 times 2.
is it UV being
Well, that-
resistant to ultraviolet?
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think that's.
Well, what it is, it's what I kind of understand, not really laser, but it's
Kind of,
the different type ink, and as soon as it's exposed to UV light, it's dried and it's cured and it's ready to go.
It's kinda like
Oh.
you're doing your teeth.
Okay, so that may not be the
well,
UV
but
protected
you know, I
from
know
the
you can
sun.
put
No, it's
clear
not
coat.
For fading.
UV protected, that's the
The
process.
process for it. Okay,
The-
thank you for explaining that.
The present day sign that we had, that I just showed you a picture of, has got that stick-on lettering.
The plastic.
Yeah, that stuff's been on there.
I was
for-
fixing to say those
Years
signs
and
have
years
never
and
been
years.
replaced.
And they
it's
say,
still
but,
good.
you know,
Right.
yeah.
It's still good.
Yeah, a lot of that stick-on lettering depends on the paint that's
Adhesive.
underneath it.
and that too, yeah.
You know.
Well, you get the right kind of metal, you get the right kind of metal paint, and then you can put that on there, and I've told them I wanted, I'd like to have glue like the little stickers you put on your license plate.
Well, you,
That ain't coming off.
but you can order that lettering.
Yes, you can.
Right,
online.
right.
Am I incorrect or?
No, you're right. Now, the actual face of the Native American that's on there, that's just pieces that are cut out. It's a white background, and they cut out the black pieces and then position them so you get that.
Phil,
You know what, have you know
do
what
we
I'm
know
talking?
who did those signs originally?
No, I was just there trying to sit here and think, I don't know, I don't think the school paid for them.
You know what, even that isn't that difficult to do.
I'm not sure at all where they came from.
But I would go with the laminate lettering and what,
The vinyl lettering?
yeah, because that's what's on there now.
See, we can get those.
That's tough as goat skin.
We actually have a local lady that has a shop in town, and
She
the
ever
quote
called
on
you
those
back?
was $154.
Okay, she called you back there.
Hmm?
She called you.
Oh, yeah, I went in.
150 so those are 150 154 a piece.
So you're looking
I
at
would-
$308.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so-
that was saying if we bought 4 of them. So she
Yeah.
was giving us a 20% discount, which is substantial on this kind of deal. It takes something from 200 down to,
Yeah.
So
you
I
know,
would
160.
definitely want to go with somebody who has Indiahoma connections.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you are gonna,
Well, that would just be the
Craft it
lettering, and
up.
if we supply the metal, she will place it on the metal for us. Don has
that's,
graciously volunteered, and he's got it all in his head, because we've gone over it
Well,
a
I've
few
also got the
times.
shop and the equipment to do that,
yeah.
to
So,
weld it and cut it and do all that, so
as far as economics, that would probably be the best
thing.
value.
get 2 of them.
So, but as far as the money, do we still wanna?
Well, I don't know
Well, on
what,
that amount of money, we're talking about $300.
Yeah.
I bet we can come up with that sitting around the table here.
Yeah. Well, the Alumni Association.
that's assuming I work for free.
You already volunteered. You were drafted.
I did.
I think it was in the minutes.
Now I know why,
I drafted you.
now I know why I'm on the board.
So the,
So the actual cost was gonna be, if you add all that up, I did it real quick to my head, you're looking $1,500-$1,600. We can do it for
But the,
between 3 and 4,
oh, the 680, 700 apiece
that's $1,400, right?
for 2 of them, yeah.
Okay, no,
I
no,
think
we
two-
could,
two
we
is
could
all
do it
we
for,
need. I mean, I don't.
I think
And
so.
those
Coming
would
into
be on
town,
2-inch
Town
square.
from
And
the
we're-
east and coming into town from the north.
Yeah.
Right, I
That's
think you're
it.
right. I
That's
think
two is good.
Because most people that come the other two routes already know that in 2002, we were state champions.
They
Unless they're out of towners and they
were
don't
on
care.
that team or related to somebody on that team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. So,
and it's the interest that's in the community and the people that I've talked to, they would probably come up with the money for this. But
That's
I'm
what I'm saying,
I don't
yeah,
wanna.
I say around the table, but.
Yeah, I just, I've got the material, I'll do it.
do we need a motion and a board resolution, or
It's,
is this something?
I make a motion to go with the lady from the community to do the vinyl
There.
and the vinyl lettering, and I go also with my distinguished board member to my right to craft the frame.
Second motion.
McKinney,
Yeah, I've done it again, yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
yes,
Okay,
and I will help you when I'm able,
motion carries.
but I got some issues coming up.
Let me,
What I'm gonna do.
let me know when you wanna plant them, I'll bring an auger.
Oh, it'll be a
Oh,
while.
Dig holes.
It won't be that, well, it don't take me that long to
Don't
make
wait till
it.
it dries out.
Now, what the one guy did say on the 2-inch, he suggested 10-foot posts,
I
4
was going
foot,
8.
3 foot, and 3 foot in the ground.
I was going
Okay.
3
two,
foot in the
two
ground,
down,
3
two
foot
up, and
space.
4.
and
Yeah, it's,
So I was going 8 foot.
yeah.
I think we'll go a little bit more, cause he's right. We got a lot of wind. He's a signed
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
I
last
spoke
night.
with him, and he said, if
Yeah.
we get 60 miles an hour wind, if you don't have at least that,
That's why we're all
you're
sitting here
gone.
sleepy, because we
The,
didn't sleep.
I'll have to check and see if I have that. If I've got 4 10
Now,
footers, I don't know.
we didn't come up to the other house, the other place, but I got at least one of the
Inch and a half.
aluminum signs,
Oh.
4x8 metal.
Right. Motion
Oh, the 4
carries.
before?
Okay.
I got one 4x8.
Moving
which would make
along.
2
Moving
4x8s.
along, 9.3. Consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve weight room sub-account under athletics.
I make a motion to create the sub-account.
I
Second it.
Second the motion.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Item 9.4, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve 2022-2023 financial procedures manual.
This is in the packet that I gave each of you. There's some things that we have to do for federal funds, and part of that is to come up with a procedures manual for finance. But there's some things that we need in the district as well. And part of that is to have outlined for us what we can do with activity accounts and what we can't do. We even had some problems even today with some procedural things with some of the activity accounts that we have. If I can outline this, I can train the teachers and say, here's a manual that you can go to, look at it, don't breach any of the stuff that we're putting down in here. And so it talks about activity accounts, it talks about, what to do with the encumbrance clerk, what sort of things need to happen there, what happens with our federal programs monies. And so I would like to have this approved so that we can use this within our district and have some procedures that everyone can go to.
So everybody's on the same page.
Yes, the first step after approving this is to train everyone on this. So going through it so that they understand fundraisers must be approved.
Sounds like it might keep us out of trouble.
It would definitely help me, and so I could sleep at night.
Well, we want you.
I don't wanna go to jail either.
We don't want you sleeping in your office.
You ready for the motion?
I move to approve.
I'll second the motion.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Motion carries. 9.5, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve Indiahoma homeless confidentiality procedures.
We have confidentiality procedures as training that we do every single year. There's a purpose, which is Family Right to Privacy Act. but for our, federal programs, we need to have, a homeless confidentiality procedure that's outlined formally, and that's what this is. We have to turn this into the state, and so this is the process for doing that. It's approved by the board, we have this, and it's basic confidentiality that we would use anyway with our students.
And you're using one that's kind of common to a lot of other schools.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sure am.
yeah.
I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Motion carries. 9.6, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve Title II-A procedures.
Title II-A is part of our federal funding that we get, which outlines, it's a grant that we get, and it sort of outlines what we need, how we can spend money for improvement of achievement for our students. So the monies can be spent on teacher professional development, on administrative professional development, and that sort of thing. What the district has done in the past couple of years is that they've taken this in our Title IV, which is our rural schools fund that we get from also the federal side, and they put it together in what is Title V or REAP. And you would do that if there's not enough money in either account to really make an impact. So you put that money together, and then you have more money that you can spend in a given amount. So we do that. But the federal government requires us to have a procedure for Title II-A, and that's what this is. It's our procedure, and it outlines that we can supplement the use of what we're doing, but we cannot supplant. In other words, we can't do training that is already mandated by the state. We have to come up with other types of trainings that would benefit our students and our teachers.
You can't duplicate.
Looks like you went to today.
I move we vote to approve item 9.6.
I second.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales.
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Motion carries. 9.7, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to increase after-school instructional tutoring to $30 per hour until June of 2024.
So we receive ESSER funds, and part of the stipulation for spending those funds is 20% of it has to be used for bridging the gap. What I would like to do is to incentivize our teachers to work with our students after school that need additional support, and increase the amount of pay to $30 per hour. And the reason why it's until June of 2024 is because that's pretty much when our money is going to be used up or runs out. I will tell you that 20% of the amount of money that we have is somewhere in the neighborhood of $94,000. We're probably going to spend more on the instructional side than that, probably a lot more. But I would like for our teachers to really get some pay out of this, because they work hard. They work hard, and we need to make sure that, you know, the extra effort that they do after school is, you know, we're actually compensating them for in a good way.
How much is the salary gonna actually be increased?
I believe it's 20, isn't it? Is it $20 currently for after school?
It was 30. I think it
No,
was,
no.
last year wasn't 30?
Mm-mm.
Maybe it was 20 then.
Yeah, it's generally 20.
Okay. Is there discussion?
No discussion, but I do make a motion to increase to $30.
I second the motion.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales.
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 9.8, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve purchase of ag truck.
Our ag truck is finally paid off. But it's taken some massive usage hits on it. It has 107,000 miles. It's been hit a couple of times, or I guess it hit deer a couple of times. It needs some mechanical work. And the biggest thing about it, guys, is that this truck is not strong enough to do what we intend for it to do. And that is, once we have a trailer full of animals, this thing gets stuck. It can't move those animals around. And that's the purpose of having this ag truck. These students go to shows, they fill up that animal trailer with a bunch of animals, and they need to be able to get that thing around without having to call somebody out to say, hey, can you pull us out? I put in your packet the quote for a new truck. What we would do is trade in the current truck that we have, it's an F-250, a non-four-wheel drive. They gave us a pretty good, amount on there, I believe it's in the neighborhood of $30,000 as a trade-in. And it brought down the amount, which is, $65,000 for a brand-new truck, into something that we can probably, manage in a good way. The payments, I believe, were
633.
633.
We were paying close to 500 over a 4-year period.
Is this a
which-
dually, the 350, or are you staying with the 250?
It's a 250.
Four-wheel drive 250.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It going diesel or gas?
Diesel.
Now, it's gonna have the ability to move a trailer full of animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that includes the hitch for the,
Is it a fifth
Oh,
wheel
it's a
setup?
fifth wheel.
Yeah, fifth
wheel.
Includes the
Yeah,
fifth
yeah.
wheel.
Yes.
So it comes with a fifth wheel
Yeah.
setup?
Or a gooseneck hitch.
yeah, the
Mhm.
gooseneck,
Yeah, sure.
that's what I was trying to think of.
Okay, and I don't have the deal right here. Did it have a towing package?
Should- Well, just about all two
And what
fifties
motor
do.
did it have in it?
It's got the
Because
diesel.
that's the pulling power, that's the horsepower there.
Well, that's the,
I thought I'd give you.
Well, I don't know what the
Do we
diesel-
have another copy?
is
I
it a
don't know which
Ford or?
diesel.
a-
There's
It's
this is a
Ford.
Ford.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it this one? No, that's
That's that one.
this one.
This,
This one.
this one
Here,
should
you can
have.
take a look at this.
One of them did.
Well, if you just went out and bought one of these trucks,
This is that
you're talking about
$90,000.
$80,000.
Charles said they just ordered a guy one the other day, 90,000. I was surprised how much
It's looking
trade we
pretty
were
good
getting.
to me.
Me too.
30,000.
And they're
One
giving you
thousand.
good-
Used cars, they're trading, they're
good
giving
trade.
money for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're in the business too. They're not gonna, they're gonna make money on the deal one way or
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna
But-
turn
but
around and
they
sell
did
that
us
truck
a-
for
they did us
50.
a little
Yeah.
deal. Craig
Forty, at
Billingsley's
least
a nice
40.
guy. He does a
Yeah,
lot for the
we've
communities.
done all our ag trucks through them.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the surrounding communities and just in general, so.
Private purchase, in reference to what you were saying, horsepower, but in addition to that is, what type of transmission's gonna be and how many speeds is it? It's gonna be automatic, I assume.
It is all
But
of
he
this.
needs, what I'm saying is, he needs to know the purpose that this truck is gonna be used for primarily.
Mhm.
Because there may be several kinds of 250s, but one may have a little bigger diesel engine, one may have a more shift of a transmission, different gear ratio in the rear end, okay? So these things need to be included in the purchase price of a 250. But they need to know
Well,
what this thing's gonna be doing.
yeah, Charles,
He
he
came out.
knows, he came out.
and looked at
He
it.
knows what's gonna be
He
doing.
knows it's ag
Hands up.
strictly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Cause I don't wanna
Yeah,
have to
Charles
purchase
hands
something too small. Yeah, I don't care if it's 4-wheel drive. You get something too small, you're gonna beat it to death.
Well,
He's been doing it.
Yeah.
a 250's, a 250 it's, you're generally gonna have a bigger.
Is that a Cummins in there, do you know?
Well, not, I don't know what Ford is anymore, if that's a Cummins or not, I don't. I know Chrysler, Dodge is a Cummins, but I'm not sure, on the,
We did
one
talk,
time
we did
Ford
talk to him. He came
International.
out, he very graciously came out and looked at everything. He looked at our trade-in.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what it's gonna be used for.
Yeah, the specs aren't in that one. There was
Just
one
so we
that
get
was-
something to accommodate the purpose.
We had that old
7
one.
Power Stroke V8
This
diesel.
one has the specs.
Where you at,
Yeah, Michelle probably has it
I was
down
gonna
there.
say, there's also
oh,
one.
is that got the specs on it?
Yeah,
What kind?
yeah.
The-
They got one.
And,
I thought I'd give everybody one.
All right. Now you
probably in
talking.
the packet.
Now we're
I've
talking.
seen it, but
4x4, crew cab, okay, 10-speed auto torque shift.
So that's gonna be a 4-door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Which
that's
you need.
good. It's a
Yeah,
6.7
Yeah.
liter,
Yeah.
Kids with
You
that.
have
Yeah,
to
you have to
have
move
that.
kids
Dawn.
with it.
6.7,
I see it. 10-speed auto torque. Okay.
yeah.
I'm liking this so far. Air conditioning.
There's no carpet. All right.
No
It's
carpet.
not fancy.
Well, yeah, when I got my pickup, I didn't want carpet. They put a workman's, what they call a workman's,
Yeah.
you know, on there.
Yeah.
It's a rubber formatted.
Like a WeatherTech,
Huh?
like WeatherTech.
Yeah, this is put in
From
in
the
December.
factory.
It's tough, it's not tough. Okay, 10 speed 3.1, John,
It's, yeah, it's,
special adjustment,
I didn't see what the rear end was.
6 variance back.
Are we ready to take action?
I am.
Is that a motion?
Was that a motion?
No, I just, okay, I make the motion that
Second.
the board votes to approve the purchase of the ag pickup.
Okay. McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Catwall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
It'll make some ag people happy too.
Yeah.
They ought to be happy now with all
We're
the
not
new
gonna make
electricity and
everybody
lights,
happy.
lights down there at the barn.
Just need to
Well,
get
I talked to Miss McKenzie, and one of the things about our ag is that it's a really popular program. And what I told her is, look, we're gonna support your program. We want the best ag program that we could possibly get. So, you know, I talked to the students about it. I said, guys, we need to
Best
think
bang
about-
for our buck.
Yes,
Yeah.
we need to think about, I wanna hear from you. What can we do to have a better program?
Yeah.
Kids have great ideas, the teacher has great ideas, and we need to support them.
9.9, superintendent's presentation, student services and board superintendent relationship.
Maybe we'll have anything to do with do it the old way.
You're way beyond me.
Yeah, that's what they don't need to. Okay, guys, there's a couple things that I wanted to do, and I was given the directive during one of the last board meetings to try to get 2 of these. And so I'm gonna talk about student services, and I'm gonna try to do this very briefly. And I'm gonna talk about board superintendent relationship. And one of the things that we try to develop here, or what I'm trying to do, is to work on school environment. And what that means is that you've gotta take a look at all the current environments that actually exist for our students. What is the instructional environment actually look like? What is the social environment of our kids? What types of programs are we actually going to develop? And how can we get students to actually think that this school is a good place where they want to be? And so our school environment is something that we're developing and cultivating all the time. It's accepting, safe, supportive, and provides opportunities for every student to be an important part of the Warrior Way. In order for us to be able to do that, we need to find things that the students are really interested in. I support our teachers. I make sure that they're provided with the best resources that I can possibly get them. I ask them all the time what they need. Our teachers right now are planning on some new curriculum that we're trying to work from an alignment standpoint, so it's gonna be multiple grade levels all the way across. You know, I want the best instruction possible for our students, and in order to do that, I have to take care of our teachers as well. That's part of this environment that we need to cultivate here. And it's not just about providing them with the resources, but making sure that the teachers feel like our school is a good place for them to work, that they understand that people know what sort of hard job that they're actually doing, and to telling them all the time, you know what, we appreciate you. And showing, not just telling them, but showing them also. Students that are struggling, they're tested, they're given additional tutorial support through some of our funds that we talked about earlier. We're actually providing some teachers just for the tutorials, pullouts, reading, math, are what we're trying to target. We provide that for the students that need additional support. I personally meet with our seniors. Some of our seniors, you know, they need that extra support too. It's not done just because they're a senior. And so I meet with them, I talk to them, I check on them regularly. And I will tell you guys that some of these older students will actually come to me, Mr. Wise, I need some help. And I try to do the best job that I can in order to provide the support that they need. The students have seen me, and this is the important thing about this part. In order to understand what you need to cultivate, you have to wrap your hands around the campus, the district, the students, the teachers, everything that's going on. So students are seeing me in multiple settings. I'm in the classrooms all the time. Every single day I make walkthroughs. I monitor what's going on instructionally. I take a look at what the teachers are doing. I see what the students are doing in the classroom. I take a look at that learning environment, and I'm thinking to myself, how can we improve it all the time? They see me in all types of school activities that we do. I'm at basketball games. I travel to the faraway games as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I can't go, but I go as much as I possibly can. I do activities with them. I have already told you guys, yes, I was driving the bus. I was taking kids both to campus and home from campus. And the other day, I have to tell you, I was so busy. I had federal programs. I had to upload every single document that they wanted. It was like 250 documents. Crazy amount of work. So I couldn't drive the bus. The kids were like, "Where's Mr. Wise? How come he's not driving the bus today?" I have even taught some of the classes, the PE classes for some of our students that were doing some of the basketball. I went out there and helped them out with some of those things. But I enjoy doing that, and I think that the school environment and the systems of support that we have here are really solid and very, very good for our students. The students know that we care about them, the teachers know that we care about them, and that's the whole purpose. You have to constantly cultivate that in your culture in order for the school environment and the systems of support to thrive. We started a Native American committee to give Native language, drumming, and dancing opportunities to our students. We had that wonderful assembly just the other day where we had someone come in and they were drumming, singing, and the students from our own students were actually out there dancing and showing others exactly what it means to dance in certain types of traditional dances. It was pretty amazing, I have to tell you. But we have a committee that is designed to do some of that. We're trying to set up some language. We're going to try to set up some opportunities after school for both the language and the drumming. So that's really great. Of course, we talked about the tutorials. We already have teachers that are doing that. There's after-school clubs that we have. Our esports is really strong. The students really get a lot out of that. For some of those students that don't often have things to go to, that esports is really something that they like. And so we've set that up. They establish their own teams. They collaborate, they compete, they talk about what needs to happen, and our students have done pretty well at it. We had a couple of students that placed third in their last tournament and were headed to state. They didn't make it all the way, but they did a really great job in representing us. We have an after-school club, warrior weightlifting. I do that with the kids, and the kids, if I'm not out there on time, they'll come and get me in the office. Mr. Wise, can we go lift weights? It's been really amazing to see the students out there. We have both boys and girls that lift weights, so I'm really pleased and proud about that. But we have some students that have needed, from their own perspective, they've been working on their weightlifting. They've gained and bulked out, which is something that they wanted to do. And we have others that have lost weight, and that's something that they've wanted to do. So it's been really a positive situation for our students. I've been really pleased with that. The weightlifting, we have almost completed everything that we need in there. We need a couple more pieces of equipment, and then that thing's going to be solidly filled out for all of our students. The baseball coaches have asked if the kids can lift weights. Of course they can. Basketball, Coach Beatty has asked if the girls can lift weights in there. Of course they can. Everybody can go in there and they can lift whenever they, have the opportunity to do it after season or during season, whenever they want. Here's some of the great things that we've done, just pictures. Students have done, and there's more. This isn't everything. This is just some of the great things that our students do, and we do it as a group, and the school environment and the systems of support are very, very solid. The basketball is from our last tournament that we just went to, where the boys placed third, and they played really fantastic, amazing. Our girls won their first game at that tournament. It was pretty amazing, and I'm really proud of our girls. I gotta tell you, guys, I saw them play at that tournament. It wasn't even the same team. I don't even know who they were. I'm like, who? They were just nailing 3-pointers left and right. It was pretty
They were back
spectacular.
last night, the other team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really proud of those ladies because they, I think that they didn't have a lot of faith in themselves, and all of a sudden something just clicked, and their belief in themselves just has been shining through. It's been really incredible to watch. Board and superintendent relationships. Guys, I cannot tell you how important this is because the relationship that we develop is something that permeates the whole district. It sets the tone for the culture and any activity that we do. And so I really work hard on doing some of this. Do I Do I struggle with some of it? Yes, and there's one piece in here that I'm gonna talk to you about. With transparency, relationship, and communication, I've been transparent, informing the board in multiple ways. I do redline that board agenda. I give the superintendent's report, I try to stay on top of a lot of the issues that you guys need to be aware of. If something happens, I will call you and let you know that there's something brewing out there. We send out newsletters, of course. Everybody should get that newsletter. It's always posted up on our website. Our website's always available to take a look at. And we are definitely on track. We've already ordered all of the equipment, or we're in the process of ordering our equipment for our live stream that we're gonna have operational by second semester. So anybody that wants to take a look at it, they can take a look at our recordings that we're gonna have posted out there on what's going on in the school and the reports that the students are all gonna do. And the person that's sponsoring that is Mr. McGuire, our science teacher. He's doing a fantastic job. Policy involvement. There's a lot to policy. I've written tons of policy in multiple districts, but these are the policies that I've brought forward so far. And there's a lot to it. It's not just about bringing the policy, it's about making sure that we have things that can make us operational and that we're working on what the district can do in certain circumstances in a good way. And so I bring these things to you for approval. There's been a ton of policy that I've either worked on. I don't do this alone and just make up these things. I research other districts, see how other districts do it. I put together plans from, some of this stuff is from multiple districts. So I try to put together the very best plan that I can for each one of these things that I've brought forward. And this is in the past 2 months. Past couple months, we've had to do this, and a lot of this has been a requirement of our federal programs audit. They audit us and say, you need to have these policies. Well, you're right, we do. So I work on them. So if there's any weakness that I have, guys, I think it's this one. And it's the board development piece, where I should be providing opportunities and letting you know what's available for training. There's tons of training out there. Board members can get any kind of training that you're really are interested in. School law, regulations, school finance, community relations, how to effective governance, how to govern effectively, strategic planning and goal setting. If you guys have any training that you want, I will set it up. It's not that hard to do. I know tons of organizations. I'm a part of a lot of organizations, and I can set up the training, and oftentimes the trainers will come here. That is all of it. Questions or comments? And I know it was really fast, but I've been trying to pare these down a little bit.
Back to the native, the one before this, you had the club, the Native American Committee.
We have adults that sit down
If we
and try
can
to
get
plan.
enough, there's Johnson O'Malley,
Can't get
We-
that here.
it's not
We have-
anymore.
We have Indian Ed money.
We have tried, Deanna tried very hard.
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, I know,
Didn't they have
and that's,
Johnson O'Malley a few years ago?
Years
yes, we-
ago, when they let it go,
No, I mean a few years ago, like
No.
4 or 5 years
No.
ago.
that's when they were talking with them and trying.
and we had them come in several meetings and everything. I wonder if this would enhance the ability to
I
get
don't,
that
I
back.
don't know.
They buy a lot of supplies,
Yeah.
shoes,
But
a lot of different things.
It was
It's
a
a
lady
lot of
that was
money
really
that
working hard
they're
on it,
missing
but-
out on.
Well, we can come up with the funds for any of the projects that we have that are involved here. And, you know, that whole situation with our students dancing and the drummers coming in and singing the songs, which was pretty amazing. That was all put into place by just one of our staff members that knew everyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ms. McClung organized it, called everyone, talked to the students. I mean, I just sat there and said, what do I need to do? And she pretty much organized all of it. But she's part of a committee that sits down and we think about what we need to do and what we'd like our students to have as experience and opportunities. And so, she's been amazing to work with.
And if she can get the ball rolling on the Johnson O'Malley, that's just more funds, more money.
We
And
can
it's
continue.
not,
Cash has it, and I had been speaking with a lady over there several years ago. That's why she said, oh no, they've got it in Indiahoma now. And she said the lady's name, I don't remember what it was. And so that's why I backed off of it.
No, we didn't get it.
And we were working with Jackie.
There was a lot of
trying
back
to-
and forth and this
get
and the
it.
right hand didn't meet the left and it's the red tape and everything, so it just got dropped.
Just one other question on the Warrior weightlifting. Is there always, an adult out there?
I'm always out there. Yes.
But there will be always an adult out there, just because kids, will tear up if they're not
The,
being
the
watched.
baseball coaches asked me if I would go out there and lift with the kids at 6 o'clock, which I will do. I don't have a problem with it. I am absolutely qualified to go out there and show them both how to lift. I used to be a powerlifting coach and a powerlifting official. And, I will work with the basketball team. I actually show the kids in the weight. I don't leave them in there by themselves.
Okay,
I go in there and work with them.
just making sure that there was an adult out there.
Yeah, that's me.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good job.
He's probably got a policy on that.
Probably has a policy. Maybe we can get you to
And
write
weight
a
room
policy on that.
rules, weight room rules that the kids have to follow.
That's a policy.
Okay.
Okay, 9.9, it does not require a vote. 9.10, yeah, I got that word right. Consideration and possible action on going into executive session to discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee, and to conduct ongoing superintendent evaluation as identified in accordance with the provisions of 25 OS Section 307B1. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
I second the motion. This would be 9/11.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavalla.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excuse me.